Picture this. You're walking down the Las Vegas Strip on a Tuesday night in 2026. The neon is still blinking. The fountains at Bellagio are still dancing. But something is wrong. One of the casinos you've been walking past your entire adult life has its doors locked. Security tape across the entrance. A sign that says closed for redevelopment, which, if you've lived long enough, you know is just corporate language for we lost and we're not coming back. That moment is coming, and I'm going to tell you exactly which casino it's going to be. Hi, my name is Michael, and this is Old Vegas Legends, the channel where we tell you the truth about what's happening to the city we love, the city that made promises to regular people and has been breaking them one resort fee at a time. The graveyard is already full. Before we talk about who's next, we need to talk about who's already gone. Because the Las Vegas casino graveyard filled up a lot faster than most people realize, and the pace is accelerating. The Tropicana, open since 1955, closed its doors in April of 2024. 70 years of history gone. The Mirage, the casino that literally changed everything. The casino that Steve Wynn opened in 1989 and changed the DNA of the entire Strip, closed in July of 2024. Its iconic volcano, which had been erupting every 15 minutes since 1989, was demolished to make way for Hard Rock's guitar-shaped tower. On its final night, crowds packed the sidewalks just to say goodbye. Think about that. People were grieving a building. Poker Palace, a family-owned casino that served North Las Vegas since 1974, announced it would close permanently in October of 2025, laying off 126 employees. Not a corporate giant, a neighborhood institution, gone. The buffets, and I know this sounds like a joke, but stay with me. The buffets are a genuine economic indicator. As of early 2025, only 8 all-you-can-eat buffets remain on the entire Strip, down from dozens just years ago. The ones that survived doubled or tripled their prices. The buffet used to be the great equalizer of Las Vegas, a construction worker from Ohio eating alongside a millionaire from Manhattan. That democratic tradition, as one commentator called it, is dead. Resort fees exploded. MGM Resorts raised resort fees twice in 2024. Premium Strip properties now charge $45 to $52 per night, on top of room rates that already skyrocketed. Slot machine hold percentages increased to 7.2% statewide. Blackjack tables offering only 6 to 5 payouts instead of the traditional 3 to 2 have become standard. That single rule change increases the house edge by approximately 1.39%. You're losing money 4 times faster than you should be. The average visitor spent $1,322 per trip to Las Vegas in 2024. That's 53% higher than 2019. But here's the gut punch. Spending on gaming actually decreased. You're paying more. You're gambling less. The house isn't winning at the tables anymore. They're winning before you ever sit down. This is the environment every Las Vegas casino is operating in right now. And in that environment, the weakest ones don't survive. So, let's talk about the weakest ones. The 5 candidates. I spent a long time building this list, and I want to be clear. I'm not rooting for any of these casinos to close. I grew up loving this city. Some of these names are tattooed on my childhood memories. But love doesn't pay the bills, and nostalgia doesn't show up in an earnings report. These 5 properties made the list for specific documentable reasons. Location problems, identity crises, corporate neglect, debt loads that don't make sense, foot traffic numbers that should terrify any rational investor. The 5 candidates are the Strat, Circus Circus, Bally's Las Vegas, now operating under one of the most confusing rebrand situations in modern casino history, the Mirage site under Hard Rock's ownership, and a wild card that I think is the most vulnerable of all. We'll get to each of them, and look, I'll be honest with you up front. One of these is a legitimate I will bet you money situation. The others are varying degrees of I'm watching this very carefully. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one keeps me up at night. Candidate 1. The Strat, stranded at the top of the world. The casino that has one of the most recognizable skylines in Las Vegas and one of the worst possible locations on the Strip. The Strat, formerly the Stratosphere, renamed in 2019 in a rebranding effort that frankly didn't fool anyone, sits at the very northern tip of the Las Vegas Strip. And I don't mean slightly north, I mean so far north that it barely qualifies as Strip adjacent. The property sits roughly a mile and a half from the center of action. No monorail connection, no Vegas Loop access as of this writing. Just Las Vegas Boulevard stretching out between you and the Palazzo like a hot asphalt punishment. The Strat was built on a concept that made sense on paper. Put people up high, really high, 1,149 feet high, give them thrill rides on top of the tower, and let the spectacle draw them in. And for a while, it worked as a novelty. People rode the sky jump. They ate at the top of the world restaurant. They looked out at the city and felt the vertigo. But here's what the Strat has never been able to solve. After you ride the ride and eat the dinner, why are you still there? What's keeping you on that casino floor when Fremont Street is a short ride share away and the heart of the Strip is equally close? The Strat has never answered that question convincingly. The property is owned by Golden Entertainment, which also operates a portfolio of smaller taverns and locals casinos across Nevada and Montana. Golden Entertainment has been under significant financial pressure. The company has been divesting assets, selling off its distributed gaming operations to focus its balance sheet. In 2023 and 2024, Golden was actively restructuring, and analysts have noted that the Strat is the company's most capital-intensive asset by a wide margin. Here's the number that matters. The Strat has roughly 1,400 hotel rooms. In a market where Strip occupancy dropped to 85.3% in May of 2025, and where leisure travelers, the backbone of the Strat's customer base, are disappearing, filling 1,400 rooms at the north end of the Strip is a daily battle, and battles cost money. The tourist dead zone around the Strat compounds every other problem. There's no neighboring anchor property pulling foot traffic past the front door. There's no cluster of must-see restaurants or entertainment venues within walking distance. What surrounds the Strat is largely empty lots, older motels, and the kind of Las Vegas Boulevard stretch that most tourists instinctively avoid after dark. One industry observer put it bluntly: location in Las Vegas isn't just about address, it's about what's next door, what's across the street, and what pulls people past you on their way somewhere else. The Strat has none of those advantages. It's a destination that stopped being a destination somewhere around 2015, and it's been coasting on tower ticket sales and hotel room discounts ever since. Golden Entertainment's financial trajectory will determine this property's fate. If the company continues divesting and rebalancing, the Strat becomes a logical sale, or closure. There is no obvious buyer with a compelling vision for that location. And a casino without a buyer and without foot traffic is a casino on borrowed time. Candidate 2, Circus Circus, the last dinosaur. I have a soft spot for Circus Circus. I genuinely do. There's something almost heroic about a casino that has refused to change its entire identity for 50+ years, while the world reinvented itself around it. Circus acts, an indoor theme park, the Adventure Dome, acrobats performing over the casino floor while people play nickel slots below. It's completely absurd and completely wonderful. But wonderful doesn't pay the mortgage. Circus Circus opened in 1968 under Jay Sarno, the same visionary who built Caesar's Palace. Sarno's idea was radical for its time. A casino designed around entertainment spectacle, built specifically to attract families. It worked. For decades, Circus Circus was one of the highest grossing casinos in Las Vegas because it understood volume. Get families in. Get everyone spending something. Keep the atmosphere electric. MGM Resorts owned Circus Circus for years and, to put it diplomatically, did not love it. MGM's strategy shifted dramatically toward luxury. Bellagio, Aria, the Cosmopolitan acquisition, and Circus Circus didn't fit the portfolio anymore. MGM sold it to Phil Ruffin in 2019 for $825 million. Ruffin, who also owns Treasure Island, is a genuine Las Vegas believer. He's not a Wall Street operator. He's an old-school casino man who understands the value of volume and loyalty. And yet, the structural challenges facing Circus Circus are enormous. The family-friendly model that built this casino has been systematically dismantled by the Strip itself. Las Vegas spent 20 years marketing itself away from families. The Pirates at Treasure Island, gone. Free attractions everywhere, gone. The city decided it wanted high rollers and convention attendees and EDC weekend crowds, not families with 3 kids and a $200 daily budget. Circus Circus sits at the northern end of the Strip, sharing the tourist dead zone with the Strat and the Fontaine Blue. It's not near the Bellagio fountains or the High Roller or the Sphere. It's not near anything that draws the massive pedestrian traffic that keeps a casino floor humming. The Adventure Dome is genuinely impressive. 2 acres of indoor theme park in the Nevada desert is a legitimate attraction. But it's not enough to counteract the location disadvantage, the identity confusion, and the broader Strip abandonment of the family demographic. Here's what concerns me most about Circus Circus. Its entire value proposition depends on a type of Vegas visitor that is being actively discouraged from coming. Resort fees price out families. Parking fees price out families. $25 cocktails price out families. $30 pancakes price out families. The visitor that Circus Circus was built to serve is being told, repeatedly and expensively, that they are not welcome in modern Las Vegas. Phil Ruffin is a stubborn man, and I mean that as a compliment. He'll fight for this property longer than a corporate operator would. But at some point, stubbornness meets arithmetic, and arithmetic always wins. Circus Circus is not closing tomorrow, but it is a property without a clear future in the Las Vegas that the Strip is deliberately building. Nate Candidate 3, Bally's Las Vegas, the name nobody asked for. Okay, I need to take a breath before this chapter, because the story of what has happened to this property genuinely baffles me every time I try to explain it. Let me walk you through it. Bally's Las Vegas opened in 1973 as the MGM Grand Hotel. It was renamed Bally's in 1986 after a fire, the deadliest hotel fire in American history, prompted a sale. For decades, Bally's was a mid-tier Strip property with reasonable name recognition, a central location directly across from Bellagio, and a steady stream of visitors who knew what they were getting. Then, Caesars Entertainment acquired it as part of its absorption of various Strip properties. And then, in 2022, Caesars renamed Bally's Las Vegas to Horseshoe Las Vegas, bringing back the Horseshoe brand, a legendary name in poker circles, attempting to attract serious players. So far, so logical. But here's where it gets strange. Bally's Corporation, a separate company, not Caesars, a Rhode Island-based gaming company that had licensed the Bally's name, started buying up regional casinos and rebranding them under the Bally's name. The two companies are entirely separate entities sharing a name in the same industry. If you're confused, welcome to the club. Most of the tourists walking past the Horseshoe Las Vegas don't know it used to be Bally's. Most people who've heard of Bally's Corporation don't know it has nothing to do with the casino on the Strip. The rebranding to Horseshoe hasn't delivered the transformation Caesars needed. The property sits in prime real estate, dead center of the Strip, walking distance from everything, which means its struggles can't be blamed on location. The building itself is aging. Renovation costs on a property this size are staggering. Caesars Entertainment, which is carrying significant debt loads from its own leveraged history, has to make decisions about where capital gets deployed. And here's the quiet truth that nobody at Caesars will say out loud on an earnings call. When you own Caesars Palace, Paris, Las Vegas, the Venetian's neighboring properties, and Harrah's, a mid-tier property in the same corridor, starts to look redundant. Why maintain 4 properties within a mile of each other when 3 would cost less and potentially perform better? The Horseshoe Las Vegas isn't closing tomorrow either, but the identity crisis is real. The competition from Caesars' own adjacent properties is real, and the debt pressure on the parent company is real. That combination produces outcomes that nobody plans for and everybody pretends not to see coming. Candidate 4, the Mirage site, Hard Rock's billion-dollar gamble. This one is different from the others, because technically, the Mirage already closed. The question is whether what replaces it ever actually opens. Let me explain why that's a legitimate concern, and not just pessimism. The Mirage closed in July of 2024, Hard Rock International, owned by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, purchased the property for $1.075 billion in 2021. Their plan, announced with enormous fanfare, was to demolish the existing structure and build a guitar-shaped tower that would become the visual signature of the Las Vegas Strip, a hard rock hotel and casino unlike anything ever built. Here's what I need you to remember. The Fontainebleau opened in December of 2023 after 16 years of delays, bankruptcies, a pandemic, and a complete redesign. It cost $3.7 billion and is currently hemorrhaging an estimated $400,000 per day. The guitar tower at the former Mirage site is projected to cost approximately $1.5 billion and is being developed in a market that is actively contracting. Construction on the guitar tower has been slower to materialize than the initial announcements suggested. Hard Rock has been navigating financing, design approvals, and the kind of regulatory complexity that large-scale Las Vegas construction always involves. None of this is necessarily alarming on its own. Major projects take time, but the timing concerns me deeply. By the time a guitar tower could realistically open, we're talking 2027 at the absolute earliest, and that's optimistic. The market it opens into may look nothing like the market Hard Rock was betting on in 2021. Visitor numbers are declining. Gaming revenue is shrinking. The competition for the whale demographic, which is the only demographic Hard Rock's luxury positioning targets, is intensifying from Macau, Singapore, and online platforms. If financing becomes difficult or market conditions worsen, the Mirage site becomes the most expensive vacant lot in Nevada. And vacant lots in Las Vegas have a long, dispiriting history. The Fontainebleau sat as a glass ghost for 14 years. The Drew project stalled for years after that. The north end of the Strip has a particular talent for turning billion-dollar ambitions into expensive parking lots. The Mirage site isn't a casino that might close. It's a casino that might never reopen. And in terms of impact on the soul of Las Vegas, that might be the most devastating outcome of all. Candidate 5, the wild card, and my number 1 pick. All right, we've covered 4 properties with serious structural problems. Location disadvantages, identity crises, corporate confusion, financing uncertainty. But the casino I think is most likely to close first in 2026 isn't any of those 4. It's one that most people aren't watching closely enough. And the reason they're not watching closely enough is that it doesn't have a flashy collapse narrative. No Nacho Gate moment. No guitar tower press release. Just a slow, grinding, economically inevitable decline that the numbers have been signaling for 2 years. I'm talking about Casino Royale. Now, before you click away, I know, Casino Royale is tiny. It's not a billion-dollar resort. It doesn't have a celebrity chef or a residency act or a rooftop bar. It's a small independent property sitting in one of the best locations on the entire Strip. It's directly across from the Venetian, sandwiched between Horace and the Palazzo, right in the heart of the tourist corridor. And that location is precisely why it's doomed. Casino Royale survives on a single value proposition. It is one of the last places on the Las Vegas Strip where you can find genuine budget gambling, cheap table minimums, loose-ish slots by Strip standards. No resort fees for a long time, though that has changed. It's the casino that every budget gambling forum recommends. It's the casino that the Reddit threads about playing $5 blackjack on the Strip point you toured. But here's what's happening to that customer base. They're disappearing. Not because Casino Royale did anything wrong, but because the Strip has become so expensive that the budget gambler's entire Vegas trip is being priced out before they ever reach the casino floor. Resort fees at neighboring properties have risen so dramatically that budget-conscious travelers are choosing to stay off the Strip entirely in Henderson or near the airport, and those visitors are less likely to walk past Casino Royale on their way to anywhere. The real estate reality is devastating and simple. Casino Royale sits on some of the most valuable land in the continental United States. The parcel is surrounded on all sides by properties owned by major casino corporations. The pressure to sell, not from financial failure, but from the sheer astronomical value of that land, is immense and growing every year. An independent operator sitting on a prime Strip parcel in a market controlled by MGM, Caesars, and Wynn is like a homeowner who hasn't sold their house in the middle of a neighborhood that's been completely redeveloped around them. Eventually, the offers get too big to refuse, or the operating costs, property taxes, labor, maintenance on an aging building, make continuing simply irrational. Casino Royale has survived by being the last affordable option in an increasingly unaffordable corridor. But when the affordable customer base shrinks and the land value explodes, that survival strategy reaches its expiration date. I want to be clear about something. I don't want Casino Royale to close. It represents something genuinely important, proof that the Strip doesn't have to be exclusively a playground for people with unlimited expense accounts. Every time I walk past it and see people actually enjoying themselves without calculating whether they can afford a cocktail, I feel something that I can only describe as relief. The old Vegas wasn't entirely dead yet, but feeling something and predicting something are two different things. And what I'm predicting is this: the economic and real estate forces converging on that property in 2026 are not survivable, not without a buyer willing to maintain the current operation, which no rational corporate casino operator would do, and not without a customer base that Vegas itself is systematically dismantling. The smoking gun, what the numbers actually say. If huestes. I don't want you to take any of this on faith. So let's look at what the data actually shows, because the numbers are more alarming than even the most pessimistic industry observers anticipated 2 years ago. In June of 2025, Las Vegas received 3.1 million visitors. That sounds like a lot, until you realize that June of 2024 saw 3.49 million visitors, nearly 400,000 fewer people in a single month, a stunning 11.3% decline. Harry Reid International Airport reported passenger counts down 6.3% in the same month. Hotel occupancy on the Strip dropped to 85.3% in May of 2025, down from 88.5% the previous year. Weekend occupancy, the sacred metric that Las Vegas has always been able to count on, fell from 93.4% to 89.9%. When weekend occupancy starts cracking, you know something fundamental has shifted. Strip gaming revenue fell 3.9% in May of 2025 compared to May of 2024, 4 consecutive months of decline. Downtown Las Vegas saw gaming revenue drop 11.3% in June. These aren't rounding errors, these are structural signals. The University of Nevada, Las Vegas economics professor Stephen Miller has predicted a slow contraction through 2026, warning that gross gaming revenue will likely return to pre-pandemic trends as savings and discretionary income normalize. What that means in plain language is that the pandemic-era spending surge that casino operators mistook for a new baseline was not a new baseline. It was borrowed money and pent-up demand and stimulus checks flowing through slot machines. That era is over. Meanwhile, the U.S. online gambling market hit $12.68 billion in 2024, directly competing with Las Vegas's traditional model. Younger generations are not flying to Nevada to gamble. They're gambling on their phones from their couches. One industry expert noted that young people have 40 options to gamble from the comfort of their own home. The Strip cannot compete with that convenience. It can only compete on experience. And right now, the experience is a $30 plate of pancakes and a mandatory resort fee. Canadian visitors, Vegas's largest international market, dropped 18% in 2024. WestJet reduced Vegas flights by 15%. International tourism to the U.S. saw potential losses ranging from $12 billion to $29 billion, according to multiple tourism industry reports. That's not a Vegas problem specifically, but Vegas is disproportionately exposed because it depends on discretionary travel in a way that most domestic tourism destinations do not. Caesars Entertainment CEO Tom Reeg acknowledged in an earnings call that Las Vegas started, quote, leaking as a market in June of 2025. Even the executives know they've gone too far. The math points to one conclusion: a market in contraction kills the weakest properties first. Not always the oldest ones, not always the ones with the most debt, the weakest ones. The ones without a clear identity, without a captive customer base, without a compelling answer to the question of why a visitor should choose them over everything else competing for that wallet. The verdict. So which Las Vegas casino closes first in 2026? Here's what I believe, and I want to be direct with you because that's what this channel is about. Casino Royale is the most likely to close, not through dramatic collapse, but through a transaction. A sale to a developer or a corporate casino operator who will either demolish it or absorb it into a larger project. The land value makes the math irresistible. The shrinking budget traveler base makes continued independent operation increasingly difficult to justify. And the corporate giants surrounding it are always watching, always calculating, always waiting for the right moment. The Strat is the most likely to close through genuine financial failure if Golden Entertainment continues its asset divestiture strategy and cannot find a buyer willing to take on the capital requirements of that property. If Golden walks away, there is no obvious rescue. The location doesn't inspire saviors. Circus Circus is the longest-term concern. Phil Ruffin's personal commitment to the property buys it time, but without a fundamental reimagining of the value proposition, and without a Las Vegas Strip that welcomes the family demographic back rather than pricing them out, Circus Circus is fighting a battle that gets harder every single year. The Horseshoe Las Vegas, if formerly Bally's, is the slow burn. Caesars won't close it dramatically. They'll downsize it quietly, reduce staffing, let the renovation cycle slip, and eventually make a real estate decision that gets announced as something other than what it actually is. And the Mirage site under hard rock. That one I'm watching with a particular kind of dread. Because if the Guitar Tower financing hits serious turbulence in a contracting market, we're looking at the possibility that the most famous address in Las Vegas history sits dormant for years. The Fontaine Blue took 16 years and $3.7 billion to finally open. History has a dark sense of humor in this city. But here's the truth that ties all 5 of these together. None of these closures, if they happen, will be accidents. They won't be bad luck. They won't be unforeseeable consequences of global forces beyond anyone's control. They will be the direct result of an industry that looked at its most loyal customers, the regulars, the anniversary trip people, the guys who flew in from Ohio with $400 and a dream, and decided those people weren't worth keeping. An industry that raised every fee, tightened every slot, eliminated every free attraction, and chased a whale demographic that, by definition, doesn't need Las Vegas the way regular people did. The buffet line at Circus Circus in 1992 was packed with people who would become lifetime Vegas visitors. The $5 blackjack tables at Casino Royale were where people learned to love this city. The Mirage volcano was erupting for free every 15 minutes and turning first-timers into loyalists. All of that is gone now, and the casinos that couldn't replace it with something better are going to find out, one by one, that loyalty is not infinitely forgiving. Look, I started this channel because I believe Las Vegas is worth fighting for. Not the Las Vegas of $52 resort fees and 6 to 5 blackjack. The real Vegas. The Vegas that understood hospitality. The Vegas that made regular people feel like they mattered. That Vegas is still in there somewhere. I see flickers of it when I walk into a locals casino and the dealer knows the regulars by name. I see it in the old photographs on the walls of places that have been around long enough to remember what this city was built on. This city wasn't built by high rollers and hedge fund managers. It was built by the people who kept showing up, year after year. Through the good deals and the bad bets and the flights that landed at 2 in the morning and the cab rides to properties that made them feel like something special was happening. Those people deserve better than what the Strip is giving them right now. And the casinos that figure that out, that genuinely figure it out, not just say it in a press release. Those are the ones that will still be standing in 2030. The ones that don't, well, we'll be here to document every single one. I'm Michael. This is Old Vegas Legends. If this video made you think, if it validated something you've been feeling on your last few trips to Vegas, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got a lot more truth to tell. Leave me a comment below. Which casino do you think closes first? I read every single one. And hey, if you're planning a Vegas trip and wondering whether it's still worth it, I'll tell you what I tell everyone. Go for the city. Go for the energy. Just bring protein bars for breakfast. You'll thank me later. See you in the next one.